Welcome back to another video. This is a look that was not picked by me, it was picked by my audience when I made the simple tweet, pick a colour. So if you want to help me pick my makeup looks for the day, please go and follow me on Twitter. It's @RaughtinFire. I'll leave it on the screen somewhere. But welcome back to another simp warfare. We have an interesting lineup today. My Iron Maidens and myself have been picking out specific arguments on the internet, but I would like to first preface that if you would like to see your argument, your pointless, petty, silly argument displayed on your screens here on my channel, please do hashtag your arguments with simp warfare. I have 5 choice arguments listed for me here on my very handy whiteboards. I have been told to narrate to you certain buzzwords. The user named Gaga Akbar who compiled a very comprehensive list on certain buzzwords that a lot of these Twitter debaters use. So I will read them out, and I would like for anyone who is above the legal age for drinking and has a drink in their hand to take a drink every time one of these words is mentioned in these posts. So the first one is beneficial, blessings, logical, emotional, non sequitur, Islamophobic, racist, Amin, doctor, PhD, slut, moral, Muhammad, perfect, mental illness, refutation, objective morality, insecure, irrational, and whataboutism. So those are your list of words. I pray for your health and that you don't need to be driven to the emergency room. Those are all of your words that you may drink to, if you so please, if you so choose, and if you are above legal age, do not get me in trouble. Before we dive into this week's top posts, I would like to say that one of the biggest arguments I had this week was over the name of this show. Certain and select people who were mentioned in the last show didn't necessarily take issue with me roasting them or taking the piss out of them. What they did take issue with, however, was with the name of the show. ISIS Twitter goes out of their way to argue with people, and they treat it as like an online jihad. So my initial name for the show was going to be Incel Jihad, but I didn't want to kind of box it into, I didn't want to limit it to Muslim related arguments or Islam related arguments. I wanted to cover as many arguments, as many dumb arguments as possible. I do want to branch out into other stuff. So the other suggested title was Simp Warfare, because you are simping for bad ideas. And I do think as a writer, as a poet, I do have a literary license to use words at my disposal. So it is simp warfare, and while I do agree it's a bit dumb named, I'm not going to deny that for a second. It is a bit of a dumb name, but I do also think that your clear concern for the show shows that you enjoy it, and I appreciate that. I understand enjoying, loving to hate something, and that is completely fine in my opinion. I don't have a problem with it. You're more than welcome to stay, and if you have criticisms of the show, go for it. I'm more than happy to entertain it. But I would like to say that after the fact, the thought process that kind of went through my head is that these incel jihadis who come after us, they do typically have a certain way of talking to women as compared to men. And I did briefly consider changing the name of the show because of how many stands I had for the last episode had said that we should change it, but I'm going to keep it the same because y'all do seem to come after women a whole lot. So we're keeping Simp Warfare because you're simping for bad ideas and you seem to constantly go after women. I would like to redeem we got to give credit where credit is due. Abdul Jabbar did release a long thread about how he's going to avoid getting into these debates or like online feuds, because it was taking him away from the things that really matter. And yes, it was a little condescending, and yes, I don't fully agree with everything that he said, but I do want to respect the fact. I do want to give credit where credit is due. He has redeemed himself, and so wins a Dark Souls bonfire lit for this week. Thank you, Abdul Jabbar, for at least acknowledging that what you were doing was petty. He posted this thread, and feel free to read it if you would like to. And I appreciate you moving away from having petty little arguments on the internet. We are slowly, one by one, getting there. So if you would like to read this thread, I liked this one. That one tweet specifically, because it's the only one I agree with. And feel free to read through it, pause and read through it. I think it's, it shows progress. Maybe not magnanimous progress, but progress, and I appreciate it, so thank you. And I think following that's all the tea on that. That was our Charles Darwin Award winner of last week. I'm not sure who the Charles Darwin Award winner of this week is going to be, but feel free to vote for your Charles Darwin Award winner, and we will announce them in the next episode. So this week we'll not have a Charles Darwin Award winner, but we will get onto it next week. I think that it's better to leave that up to an audience decision. So leave those in the comments, leave those in the live chat. So, welcome to my door. The highlights for today, and I picked the top posts, the 5 top posts for this week. The highlights are the awful comments left on Marwa's videos, Mimsy vids, for just horrible things that have been left on her videos. Again, it's just fucking terrible. So for those of you who don't know, Marwa, aka Mimsy vids, is currently pregnant, and we are all very, very excited for, the miraculous birth. But some people have gone out of their way to say things like these just disgusting comments. And she has actually mentioned that these things have been happening since she announced that she was pregnant. It says, I have been having emails and messages like this one since I announced my pregnancy. It doesn't affect me, but it's just so sad that people will be so cruel in this way because I speak my mind. Imagine being so dedicated and simping for your Lord so much that you would wish for someone to have a miscarriage.
This is why Mom doesn't fucking love you!
Surely, if you actually believed that your Lord had any kind of power, you would have a little more faith in him than to stoop to this. Number 2, Skep's right to change reality. The original comment was, I don't even know where this started. This is such a long argument. So there's this awful picture of ISIS that was posted. Can you guess in the name of which god these people are being burned alive? And obviously, the answer's obvious, is ISIS. Did God not know this was going on, or was he unable to stop it? And then this person, MURTADHS, I don't want to know why that's the username of this person. MURTADHS goes, God did not change the destiny of any nation except by themselves. And then Skep replies, so would it be the same if God was made up? He says to Skep, you can think as you wish, but you can never change reality. Of course, I give you the right to think so. Hollywood and the media have brainwashed you. It's kind of ironic when clearly indoctrinated people will tell us that we're brainwashed, when we've clearly had the forethought to go ahead and change our beliefs. A born Muslim saying these kinds of things. Are your parents Muslims? Did they never told you about the God they believed in? I just believe in things. I have an evidence-based brain. I believe in the ingenuity of man and in our continued progress since the Dark Ages when all we had was superstition. So are your parents Muslim? And look at how this is what I've noticed in terms when a question we ask is not answered, is that there's this constant claim that, oh, you didn't answer our question, oh, you didn't answer our question, oh, you didn't answer our question. But Skep has asked the same question not twice but 3 times now, and he hasn't gotten a clear answer. But when we, want to get an answer to that question, somehow we're being petty. Mehrdad responds by saying, Corona killed 100,000 people. Why doesn't human genius do anything? Do you think that everything that is not seen does not exist? Who's answering a question with a question now? A virus has paralyzed the world economy. God is proving to you and your like-minded people. This is not to say that everything that is not seen means that it does not exist. Your humanisms or like-minded people rule the world. I wonder how many shots people are taking by now. Who is the absolute power? Maybe, stick with me,
maybe
there is no absolute power. Skep responds by saying, I have no reason to conclude that an absolute power exists, and I have no beliefs that I want to be true like you seem to. And then instead of actually responding to anything that Skep is saying, Mehrdad resolves to ask a question. He goes, so how do you explain the order of the universe? First of all, there is no order in the universe. There is no order in the universe. The universe is inherently chaotic. The world is inherently chaotic. There are hundreds and thousands of things that go wrong, but for some reason, people like this, Mehrdad, constantly want to just focus on the positives and look at this rainbow, look at this mountain, look at these fucking butterflies, look at the complexity of the eye, even Charles Darwin, we've had it all before. You want to focus on the positives, but what about all the chaotic shit that happens in the world?
Oh, it's just a test from Allah.
Skep responds by saying, even on our little planet there have been at least 4 mass extinctions already, and there will be more. 99% of the species that have walked the earth are already extinct. Some order, right? And then Mehrdad completely avoids the discussion, and says, an explosion can bring order, but not extinction. We never claimed that an explosion brought order. In fact, Skep has perfectly demonstrated that our little planet is chaotic and we've had mass extinctions, and that is an evidence for chaos. That certain changes in certain things have created chaos. And then I think I'm going to end on this, because this just seems like an endless conversation, with Mehrdad ending on asserting that Skep has a small mind. I'm going to end on this, which is the puddle analogy that Skep posits. Imagine a puddle waking up one morning and thinking, this is an interesting world I find myself in. An interesting hold I find myself in. Fits me rather neatly, doesn't it? In fact, it fits me staggeringly well. It must have been made to have me in it. And this was first posited by Douglas Adams, as we see here. It is a perfect example of the way in which people think that they are special for having the ability to ponder on their existence. Number 3, Halabi blocking everyone but me. Can I just say that I am honoured that Mufti Menzies wants to stick around and keep debating me. Mufti Menzies going ahead and blocking everyone but me.
Hello, darkness, my...
I'm not the only one. So Shmariana got blocked. I'm pretty sure Gaga Hu Akbar also got blocked. Almari also got blocked. It's just several people. He just created this blockchain, but he did not block me, apparently. This is him talking about my periods. These MURTADHS hack their lack of education and every failure on Islam, when their greatest achievement after apostatizing is being online, leeching off their hatred towards Islam, hijabi women, and talking about their periods all day. Kind of fucking weird, dude. Kind of fucking weird for you to put these together. But he went ahead and he created a little blockchain for all of my friends, but not for me.
Hello, darkness, my old
We wonder why.
I've come to talk with
clearly
you
has a
again.
blood fetish, period fetish. Asadullah's Islamophobe tirade. We've talked about Asadullah on this channel before. So Asadullah Ali, he's been on these like tirades of saying he's trying to be meme funny, but he really isn't. So he says, Islamophobe. I read the Quran literally. I don't need scholars to know what it's saying. Me, alright, so you agree with this passage. Islamophobe. So some scholars said the verse was abrogated, therefore it doesn't count. Hashtag true story.
Oh, what's that smell? It's bullshit.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but that never happened. That is bullshit. There is no way that, first of all, you probably deflected from the passage that they were literally talking about, and second of all, how I don't even understand how this conversation would happen. Like, I show you a passage, I take this literally, I don't need scholars to know what it's saying, and then you say, all right, so you agree with this passage. Did you show a different passage and therefore change the subject? Or did they, have a stroke? But then Asadullah goes ahead and says, unicorns are much more believable than you being a decent human being with even minimal intelligence. I lack the belief that you're worthy of anyone's time, even your own parents. And that's probably true, considering they most likely kicked you out for being a degenerate. Mariano was the one to highlight this comment, actually. Were you shocked? He has a PhD in petiology. Accurate. He responds to Shmariana by saying, if you have a PhD, you need to take abusive and childish comments from random trolls like me on Twitter. If you respond to our uncouth behavior, you no longer have a PhD. That's basically the gist of your comment. It really isn't. You, Asadullah, look, I respect a petty queen. I am a petty queen. I don't necessarily have a talent in debating. I can keep my, one of my dominant emotions is anger. So I understand being petty. I understand drama. It's something that I get, and I respect the pettiness. But at least admit when you're being petty. You can't even admit it. And also, you've gone a little far considering that being kicked out for your beliefs is something that you've gone through and something that realistically happens to a lot of us. It's just, why have you taken this to the nth degree for essentially a meme? This is like Jeffree Star levels of petty. I'm gonna go ahead and retweet it because that's hysterical.
It's easy, and that's why you see a lot of ex-Muslims as well jumping on the bandwagon. It's so, I've said this 100 times before. Hypothetically, let's say that I apostated, like I prayed to Allah that never happens, right? And I doubt that will. But let's say that it happened. I know for a fact that I would be made. I would be made. I would be the king of the MURTADHS. I would be like, my level of rhetoric and my level of comprehension of the subject is vastly superior to any of these people that are currently out there. Like Abdullah Samir would be bowing to my feet. Okay, that would be like, this is, I know this for a fact. Okay,
we got be the rock man.
Yeah, I would be the solid rock man of the universe to these people. Okay, so and it's. I'm just saying, okay, but I'm not gonna do it, obviously. But but it's so easy. Like,
I reckon it would be your Nemo.
I'm saying, I'm like, I would, like, right now I'm struggling, going through grad school and all this other stuff, and working odd jobs on the side and doing research work and things like this. But I know for a fact, I would be banking if I just came out tomorrow and was like, I'm an ex-Muslim. Yasmin Mohammed would try to marry me. Okay, this is, of course I wouldn't accept, but I'm not that desperate.
Fifth is Shmariana being refuted by a certain personality online. I don't even wanna. So this was an argument that Shmariana had with Halabi. It wasn't even an argument, it was just stupidness. So Halabi wrote this in response to Apostate Prophet's tweet about the perfect religion of the perfect God provides a perfect society where women have to cover from head to toe so they don't provoke the perverted perfect men. Ironically, it is covering up of women that perverts men, and they don't even realize it. Which I completely agree with. And then Halabi responded to this by saying, Quran 24:30-31 commands both men and women to lower their gaze regardless and obey their respective dress codes. Let's not pretend that male hijab is anywhere on par with women's hijab. Stop perpetuating this idea, it's stupid. Secondly, women covered throughout history. It's not our fault that you are a slave to the current social consensus and deem anything different as false. Yeah, and women had a wonderful time throughout history. You know what? ISIS fucking Twitter loves to remind us how awful a time women had in history and how Islam corrected that. But when it fits their narrative, they will constantly say, women covered throughout history, you're brainwashed. And then he posts a link to 100 Years in Britain from Ilm Feed, which is a totally non-biased source, by the way. Mariana just quote tweets it and says, "Sai, we're doing this again, are we?" And again, like, it's clearly petty tweeting, and y'all hook for the bait. And Mufti fucking Menzies comes along and says, annihilating refutation. Bravo. Fucking down your drinks. Down your fucking drinks. And then Shmariana says, I am not here to fucking refute you. Do you understand? I'm pretty sure this is what got Shmariana blocked, actually. Anyways, those are the 5 top arguments, top simp wars that we have gone through this week. Please let me know what you thought of them. If you think that I have unfairly chosen and we should have chosen other ones, also let me know, and I will, include them in the next one. Use the hashtag simp warfare in the next few videos, but we are going to move on to some choice memes that I've seen and I really desperately want to unsee. I feel like this one should become a meme just because the joke went so over this man's head. I don't even know if they're being intentionally stupid or they actually think they're being clever. It's really sad to me sometimes when I sit here and I look at this stuff. This definitely should become a meme. I really appreciate this particular screenshot of me with the cut on my face that looks like a beauty mark. Please do feel free to create that as a meme format. I would love to see some memes out of that. Make Mufti Menzies a meme. So this one, choice meme, delectable, love it, stan. I just don't understand why Pepe is still being used. Like, Pepe is such a dead meme. I just don't understand. I just don't get it, Like, I understand that there's, like, this subculture that really enjoys Pepe as a meme, but why? Why are we still... If anything, this should be used ironically. Because Pepe is just an awful meme. And I would like to read out Shmariana's wonderful poem or like little creative piece that she wrote for me because whatever. I'm terrible at my job. I would like to read that out because I did think that it was wonderful. Wrought in fire, a daughter distraught and tired, tears fought and ire drawn, retired to the thought of crying I pause, inhaling as I spiral. Into the past, placed far away, into the abyss, emotion amiss, erosion of self, of memory, explosions of every moment spent in her presence, the present I loathe in regret of devotion devoid, the void implodes, I'm wired in the depths of night, a girl caught afire. I really appreciate it, and thank you for writing that for me. It's really sweet, and when I first read it I was tearing up, so thank you. It's very creative, and I'm a little biased, but I think it's wonderful. But thank you for tuning in to this week's Simp Warfare. Thank you for joining us. And if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, share, subscribe. If you hated this video, feel free to dislike, leave your displeasure in the comments below. Feel free to attack me on social media. All of my social medias are linked in the description below. If you would like to support me in a more monetary way, I have a Patreon, I have a PayPal. If you are here while the premiere is going on, my super chats are open. So feel free to support me monetarily if you want to, and if you come across any dumb arguments or participate in any dumb arguments this week, feel free to hashtag them with simp warfare. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. I will be spending the rest of the day editing this. So yeah, I will see you in a little bit, most likely, and goodbye.